This is the EVP Podcast. Guess what, folks? You heard it right. It is the EVP Podcast. We have a special guest with us, and I'll start with myself. I'm Ghosty.
I'm Beaker.
I'm Nicole.
The Queen of Cryptids is here. We found her and brought her back out of her cave.
Aloha.
She went, aloha, hiding in Hawaii.
Well, yeah, that's where I was, and I just got back. I just touched down 2 hours ago.
You have bad sense of time. It's 4 hours ago.
4 hours ago I touched down. But I just got back from Hawaii and figured, you know what we should do? We should bring on the Queen of Cryptids and talk about some Hawaiian cryptids.
Sounds good to me.
Did you go cryptid hunting in Hawaii?
I was going to, and then I kind of turned into one myself and I stopped trying.
He was going to do some research for me. He's like, let me ask you some of my Hawaiian friends why I'm here about these, and he never did.
Did you believe him?
Well, you know
I
what?
had faith in him, but...
I had every intention of talking to locals and asking them about stuff, and then partying.
Yeah, how was those pina coladas?
I didn't drink any of those, but I did have a lot of Hennessy shots, and there was a lot of... there was these Japanese seltzers.
You're in Hawaii, you can have fruit-flavored alcohol, it's fine.
Yeah, guess what? I found these... So you all know about White Claw and how they taste like TV static and someone yelling a flavor from another room.
Why the hell are you drinking White Claws?
I'm not drinking White Claws. I'm asking you to understand how those flavors
taste. I don't
taste.
understand. I drink real alcohol.
Okay, well, I'm telling you how they taste. That's exactly how they taste. Well,
like garbage?
So, yeah, exactly, garbage. And anyways,
hot donut water.
I found
Is that a thing?
I found these drinks at the 7-Eleven that were a Japanese seltzer, but the flavor sounded amazing. I'm like, you know what? Gotta try it. Shit tasted like juice, like carbonated juice, and 6.5% alcohol. It was amazing.
Sign me up. Where's mine? You gotta smuggle that shit back.
I should have brought cans and cans of it back, but maybe I can ask the liquor store to send them, because it was pretty expensive out there in Hawaii. It was like $4 a can.
I remember the thing you told me you were the most excited for. Not your friend's wedding. You weren't excited for that. You were excited to be able to go to 7-Eleven and buy the little sushi Spam things.
Guess where I stopped first when I got there?
Probably 7-Eleven, because that's what you told me you were going to do.
Damn right I did.
You're like, I'm going to go get, what is that stuff called?
Spam musubi.
Yeah, that. He was so
Hawaiian
excited.
7-Elevens are awesome.
Mm-hmm. We went to the Hawaiian restaurant before last time we recorded. He got one of those, and he ate half of it and said, I'm going to save the other half for my daughter, because I'm going to Hawaii, and I'm going to get them at 7-Eleven.
Sure did.
Did you save it?
I don't think I did. I think I did.
Beaker, have you ever been to Hawaii?
No, I've never been in a plane.
You've never flown?
Mm-mm.
Oh, interesting. If you ever make Hawaii your first stop, it's an amazing place.
It was. And it's like, even though I've been to that same island a couple times, it's still just as beautiful. And it's crazy seeing how many things like kind of change out, but then there's some things that just won't ever change.
Like you.
I'm the
never.
Yeah, I'm the only one in my family that hasn't lived in Hawaii, so...
I think the first time I get on a plane, I'm probably going to go to Boston.
Boston?
Yeah.
Boston's awesome.
Oh, that's just where the
Freaking
plane...
A.
That's just where the plane lands.
Are you going to go to Salem?
Yes.
It's awesome. Go to Sleepy Hollow.
I do want to go to Salem as well.
Go see the bridge. It's really cool.
Is that where that's at?
Uh-huh.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah. You could take a little tour of Boston. It's really cool. Go see Cheers. Go see Fenway Park.
I hear they've got some chowder.
Yeah. But Hawaii is a must for everyone.
I'm sure
Definitely must.
Mm-hmm.
So,
we're talking about Hawaii because
I was there, and there's cryptids there.
And he wants to make us jealous.
Yeah, I just want to rub it in your face a little bit.
He's like, I'm going to talk about all the Hawaiian cryptids I did not research.
But that's why we have the Queen of Cryptids.
I know. We were lazy again. Not really. Yeah. So when you think Hawaii, obviously you don't think cryptids. I sure in the hell didn't. But they got some.
They sure do.
And we're going to talk about them.
There's ghosts there for sure, too.
How many are we talking about?
Actually, we got a cryptid/ghost is our first one.
So this is my thought of Hawaii is like, luau's, pork, all that fun stuff, pineapple, gout. I just repeating what he said. You always see it in the movies, like all the fun shit going on in Hawaii.
And it actually is like that.
It's like
food everywhere.
When have you ever seen a movie or a TV show based on the paranormal and it's set in Hawaii? Never. So that's the furthest thing from my mind when I'm thinking
Brady
about
Bunch has
ghosts.
some weird shit going on in Brady Bunch.
That's a whole nother level of weird, though.
But
like, no, when you think about, like, when you're like, I want to watch a horror film, they're never set in Hawaii.
I don't know. The first thing I seen in Hawaii as a kid was a Brady Bunch, and there was some weird shit that happened. I remember that.
That's not a horror film.
I don't know. It was mysterious.
That is not paranormal.
I remember it being mysterious.
The Brady Bunch in Hawaii. Well, it was
something weird with the tiki
First off, it
gods
was
or
a
something.
shitty sequel, so that's where we'll start with that one.
Was it a
It was
movie?
the sequel.
I'm
Yes, it was
talking
a
about
movie.
the TV show.
The TV show.
Back in the old
They
TV show.
went to Hawaii in the movie too.
Yeah, I don't remember. I never watched the
sequel.
movie one.
Where was Joe and the versus Volcano? Remember that show?
No,
Is that Hawaii?
I might have been.
I can't
I
remember.
don't know. We like to have
Did I just age myself?
two different volcanoes in Los Angeles movies come out in 1995 at the same time. Dante's Peak, and then the other one, Escape from the Tommy Lee Jones one.
Oh.
Two different movies about volcanoes erupting in LA.
Dante's Inferno. That
No.
scene where dude jumps
Dante's
into
Peak.
Dante's Peak.
Dante's Inferno is part of the Divine Comedy.
It's the 7 levels of hell.
So the one where dude jumps out of the subway car holding somebody, lands in the lava, and like as sinking into it and tosses the other
Oh
person
God,
over.
I remember that scene. That is the dumbest scene ever in that movie.
Oh my God, that was horrible. That was the
That's
hardest
one of
scene
those
to
things
watch.
that was erased from my memory until just now. I'm like,
Like,
oh my
how
god.
he's
yeah,
able to keep
same
his
body's like
balance
melting
as it's
in
melting
half.
and no more legs to be able to throw somebody.
He summons his mama bear strength and throws them to safety.
True hero.
So none of this
True
has to do
hero.
with Hawaii or Hawaiian Cryptids. We're getting there. This is where you touch down
It's a
first,
build-up.
and
This is a build-up.
you fly from LA to Hawaii, from the place of the Cecil Hotel to Hawaii.
So the first one that we'll talk about are the
Well,
night.
let me explain a
You need
little.
to
So when I was
calm
doing the research,
This is her show.
when I was doing the research, I was like, okay, we got to do cryptids, but there's so much about the deities, and someone's just like, oh, that's a deity. That's like there is a half man, half boar that's
Man,
on,
bear, pig.
but basically, and I'm
With
just
Patrick
like,
Duffy as a leg.
yeah. So the hog man of Oahu, and I was like, oh, that'd be fun, but he's kind of like a deity. He's Pele's son, and so and. That could actually come into play a little later with the other cryptid that we're talking about. But there's so many, like there's the half man, half shark, but that's another deity.
I think I saw this in Moana.
Yeah, Moana. Let me.
I heard
Moana.
there's a second one.
If you get into folklore of Hawaiian folklore, it's crazy, especially when you find out how Maui died.
He died?
What?
How he died in folklore. Okay, it is.
Like, my knowledge of Hawaii and Hawaiian culture is from Forget Sarah Marshall and Lilo and Stitch.
Okay, so Maui. Disney did a fairly good job with Maui, right?
Moana means family. What is it?
No, Ohana.
Moana.
Moana is actually the
Ohana
goddess of
means
the sea,
family.
but Maui, the way that, spoiler alert, I don't think Disney's
have-
going to do this,
They have blue aliens and hotels.
but how Maui dies is horrific. Did you ever see the horror movie Teeth?
Is it the one with the girl that has the stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that.
So he was trying to get to be immortal, so he thought if he reversed the birthing process and came out the mouth, he would become a full-on god instead of a half god.
Came out of the mouth?
Yeah, so he went inside his aunt through the birthing canal. Let's just say that.
Very professional.
And his brothers were there, and they started laughing, and she woke up, and it startled her, and basically she has obsidian
She
teeth.
coughed.
No, she has obsidian teeth down there, so he got cut in half by her vajiji. That's how Maui dies, everyone.
Ah.
So
Very interesting.
I don't think
What
Disney.
is the thought process here? Like, he's already full grown. He's like, okay.
Yeah, 'cause-
Doesn't you just?
but he's only a half god. He's only a
He's a
demigod.
demigod.
So he wants to be a full god. So he was thinking, if I go through the birthing canal and out her mouth and reverse the birthing process, he would be a full god. That's what Maui's thinking, but he screwed up.
Yeah, he did. Because everything goes in that same canal
This
and
reminds me
out
of
that
an
canal.
episode of South Park.
So, so there must be like a roundabout in there that he missed.
No, he well, because his brother started laughing because he was halfway in there, like, oh
Because
my
they're like,
gosh.
it doesn't go in through the mouth. You what? They're making fun of
Yeah,
him.
and then she got startled and
Wrong lips.
Yeah.
so that I mean Hawaiian. Yeah, there's some crazy mythology.
They bring us
so.
pork and pineapple.
So when I was looking for I'm like I knew 2 cryptids, and I'm like, they're basically the ones we're talking about because they're not deities. So so if you want to introduce the first ones,
The first one is the Night Marchers.
Night Marchers.
So in Hawaiian it said, I'm going to butcher this so bad.
Go for it. It's better you than me.
Huakai po. Or spirit ranks oyo. But anyways, they are the deadly ghosts of ancient tribal Hawaiian warriors. The Night Marchers are the vanguard for a sacred king, chief, or chiefess.
Mm-hmm. So basically, these are the people that surrounded themselves around the royalty. So.
Okay, and so royalty being alive, these were the spirits that surrounded them and protected them?
No, these were actual warriors that surrounded. But once they pass away, they're still there. Still there, but in spirit form, protecting the land and the royals. So.
Okay, and on the nights honoring the Hawaiian gods, or on the nights of
Which gods are we honoring? Which gods are we honoring?
Kane, Ku, and Lono.
That wasn't so hard.
And or on the nights of Kanaloa, they are said to come forth from their burial sites or to rise up from the ocean, and to march in a large group to ancient Hawaiian battle sites or other sacred places. The legend says the Night Marchers are normal-sized warriors dressed for battle, carrying spears, clubs, and some are beating war drums and blowing tones from a conch shells. That's to announce they're advancing on the march. And according to the myth, they are suspended in air. Their feet do not touch water or ground as they traverse through the night, and they leave no evidence of their visits.
So that what happens is they're giving people warning. We are on the way. Do not cross our paths. It's not like these are really bad guys, but if you are, the legend has it, if you're close enough to hear the conch or hear the drums, you might be a little too late and might be submitted into the army yourself.
Uh-oh.
You might be drafted.
Nice.
And then, so they march in darkness after sunset and march as a group continuously until just before sunrise. And anyone living along their path may hear chanting sounds of blown conch shells, the tones, and marching noises in the night. The following signs are foul and musky death-like odor and torches getting brighter and brighter as the night marches get closer. Night marchers might appear during the day if they are to escort a dying relative to the spirit world.
That's cool. I'm going to continue because you don't know how commas work. Ancient Hawaiian beliefs state that any mortal looking upon or being seen in defiance towards the marchers will die violently. Barriers placed in the path of night marchers will not deter them. Some people maintain that if the mortal lies motionless, face down on the ground, they are showing proper respect, fear, and deference to the night marchers, and they will be spared. Additionally, mortals can avoid harm or death from night marchers by being fortunate to have an ancient ancestor marcher present to recognize them. As they encounter the mortal, they will call out Nau, which means mine. Mine? In Hawaiian. No one in the warrior procession will harm them.
So the reason why they did this, because when they were in physical form as humans, the people were not supposed to look on the guard themselves. So if you saw the guards, you would actually be in trouble if you actually looked them eye to eye. You would be killed because they are considered sacred, and mortals were not supposed to look upon them. So that's why it continues on after their death. So.
Now, legend says planting living tea, which is a
shrub.
Shrub. Around one's home is said to keep away all evil spirits and will cause the Huakapoto to avoid the area. Now, the night marchers are said to walk through houses with doors and back doors placed in a straight line. The ceremony and conduct of the march are customized to the taste of its honored warrior leader. A Hawaiian king or chief is known to be fond of music, would be honored with much drumming and chanting. If the king or chief enjoyed peace and quiet, the march would be as silent as possible. Further, if the king or chief did not like to walk around much, he would be carried in a sling by the warriors.
How cool is this? So yeah, if there's been legends of people, they will build houses because Hawaii has grown in population immensely, even since I was there just 20 years ago. I mean, it's the first time I went there, it was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But people will build their houses, but they're in the paths of the night walkers, and they will actually come into the, it doesn't stop them. They just give, it's almost like a residual haunting if you think about it. So it comes at certain times of the year with certain moons, it will come. And yeah, people still, no matter if you're at your house, you have to stop, drop, and not look, basically. And you got to be as quiet as possible. You can't even breathe, or they'll find you.
Oh, I'll be screwed.
What about these howlies moving over there that don't know the stories?
That's how I know if someone is from Hawaii, because my last name is Hale, and they'll be like, "Oh, Hallie," I'm like, "No, it's Hale," which is actually means house in Hawaiian. So, even though it's an English word, it actually means house.
If you don't know what Hallie means, you should watch Gabriel Iglesias' stand-up comedy where he had a special in Hawaii. He explains the whole thing. So these guys, they take their job seriously,
yes.
right? Now,
even after death.
Even after death. So in ancient Hawaiian lore, the laws declare body parts of a king or chief to be sacred and not to be seen by any mortal. The punishment for looking at these body parts is always instant death, usually by bolts of intense light and flaming heat originating from several of the warriors' eyes aimed toward the mortal.
Flames coming from the side of
the violating mortal is incinerated instantly, and the bodily remains dissipate as vapors.
Flames.
That was all.
Superman lasers.
That whole scene was improvised. That was in the script.
I love it. So what happens? Like, what happens if you do encounter one of these guys?
I'm sleeping.
So it says now if you, like I said, if you hear the drums or if you hear the conch, you're probably a little too late. So basically, it says right here from How Stuff Works. Now you know it's real. So you are supposed to, like you said, shout out Nau, which is mine, and then you're supposed to drop, put your head down as far as you can, and not look him in the eyes until every single one of them passes them. There was, I was listening to some stories, and there was a guy, a native guy there. He waited nearly 3 hours for them all to march, and he was just like making sure he was doing what he was told. So it's really interesting because a lot of natives have had sightings of these. If not the ghost army themselves, they will see mysterious torches on the hills and the rims. So this is one of those things that if you ask older residents of Hawaii, they'll tell you they've seen some stuff. So
my guess is it would be a lot of residual hauntings like you would see in Gettysburg.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
kind of what I imagine is that type of residual haunting, but they probably just have this, the folklore of oh shit, don't look,
Yeah, I think it's interesting because a lot of people do see the torches and everything. I'm sorry, a Hawaiian warrior would be terrifying, and seeing a whole army full of them, I'd probably just pass out anyway.
Just lay down, put your face in the dirt.
Yeah. So, but they were talking about the origins. It came from Lapa. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Lapaka Kapanui. So there you go. It's been around since the islands even began. So people have been starting to see these warriors. They were so dedicated. I can't imagine being so dedicated to my job. I want to do it after death.
We've actually come across several native spirits
here
in Utah that they've told us that. They're like, death doesn't release us from our charge.
Yeah, it's
Basically.
crazy.
What's crazy is this part where they say in the case of an encounter. So hopefully you got to be quiet and hope that they take mercy on you. But if you hear a shriek of, "Oh yeah," that means let him be pierced.
Yeah.
And death will follow. Crazy.
So another thing that you could do to protect yourself, like they said, if someone is in the marchers that is your relative, you're fine, but you have to know your ancestry. If you start repeating your ancestors that came before you, they will surpass you most likely. So it's like a sense of honor. If you know your heritage, it's a sense of honor, and they will pass you by. So do your genealogy, people.
Yeah.
So on the 14th night of the new moon, that's when you better watch out.
That's so there'd be like a half moon, right? 14th night of the new moon. That's a half moon, right?
I would think so.
Well, it's a 28-day cycle, so you do the math.
Yeah. So.
Night marchers, man.
Yes,
So what do you think? Real? Not real?
I think it's real. I think it's a residual. I think it's a residual haunting, but there's just more folklore into it of how to respect it and all that.
Awesome.
Well, don't we have some in BYU Hawaii here?
Yeah.
What's going on there?
Well, the BYU Hawaii that they did their research. That's where I got some of the research from. So they basically they tone it down the words for idiots like me. So,
I like these guys.
Yeah. So and it says in 1883 was described in the archives as a mighty phantom army, proudly led by the spirit of King Kamehameha, pacing angrily about the big island of Hawaii. So King Kamehameha was the king that brought all the islands together as the Polynesian islands.
So, at first glance, just like not knowing what I know, I would assume like a giant undead army, right? A ghost army, not possible. It just seems a little far-fetched. And like you said, folklore. But stuff I've seen in my experience as a paranormal investigator in the last 10 years, yeah, I believe it's entirely possible. Because I have witnessed spirit armies. Mm-hmm. So...
I've seen Lord of the Rings too.
I have also, yes.
Yeah. Based on a true story. Their debt was fulfilled, and I freed them from death.
No, I mean, anyone that has that strong heritage that keeps on going and going, like the Polynesian people, and you hear their elders talk about this, I have nothing but respect, and I'm like, well, maybe they have seen something, I hear stories about my ancestors telling things about what they've seen, like in Kentucky before, and I'm just like, oh, that's crazy.
Well, that's where Waverly Hills is.
Yeah, so...
Well, and I've had stories that my dad's told me about, our ancestors and having a spirit army in the sky. So
the Lovelock Caves.
Yes.
Lovelock Caves. Sorry.
You don't even know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would. This is one of those things I would like to see, but from a very, 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 very far distance. Just beware of the drums. If you hear the drums, what was someone said? If you hear the drums, start to run.
Well, the next cryptids that you have here, you can watch from a far distance, which I mean, Full House Season 3, episode Tanner's Island.
Yeah, they actually had an episode.
Why do you know that?
It's on the notes.
It's in the notes, bud.
Oh.
And what we're talking about here is the legend
Where
of
the hell are
Menehune.
I'm just,
Next page after
I'm
that.
done.
Go one
I'm
page
done.
over. No, you're gonna need I need your help because I don't know how commas work. So please follow
I don't know how
along.
pages work, so we're both equally retarded.
We'll look for the Full House episode.
We're on page 7.
Okay.
No, I'm on page 9. I'm on page 9.
Why are we jumping so far ahead? I was on page 2.
Because I like this one better than page 9.
Okay.
Than 7.
So the next
Professionalism here.
The next cryptid when Ghosty was asking me to do cryptids, this is the first one that came to my mind is the Menehune. So to me, I've known about these.
Well, dwarves are real.
Well, they're fae folk. To me, this is like fae folk. If it was set in Ireland, these would just be fae.
And I could see that.
So, because they're mysterious little creatures that come out at night and they do like building and woodworking and gardening and stuff. But if they don't get it done between dusk and dawn, it remains undone. So they try to get all their work done, and if they don't, they gotta do something the next day. So
why are we skipping over the part where it says there's ghost tours in Hawaii?
oh yes, for the
'Cause we can get to it after we talk about it.
I'm talking about it now. I'm excited. I saw ghost tours Hawaii. We're going.
You get
Why
mad at
didn't
me
you
for
take-
jumping everywhere.
I know.
Jeez, this guy.
this guy.
This squatch.
At least I'm going. I went from 2 to 5. You went from 2 to 7.
9.
9.
9.
Nine?
Get it right.
There's ghost tours in Hawaii. We'll talk about that later, apparently.
Yeah.
So, legend of the Menehune. The Hawaiian legend has it that many centuries ago, the Menehune were a mischievous group of small people or dwarves who lived in hidden forests and valleys of the islands before the first settlers arrived from Polynesia. These Menehune who roamed the deep forest at night were said to be about 2 feet tall, though some were as tiny as 6 inches. Small enough to fit in the palm of a hand, they would enjoy dancing, singing, and archery, and their favorite foods were bananas and fish.
That's a little too small to be a dwarf.
Well, that's why there's just the
Halflings?
range. Yeah.
Maybe a halfling.
Maybe. Well, no, they'd be more
Yeah, halfling.
not dwarves. Dwarves are like 4 feet tall.
Dwarves can be as tall as they want to be. You're
Not really, because
boss.
once they reach a certain height, they're no longer a dwarf.
4 feet 10. 4 feet 10.
It's still a dwarf.
No, that's the limit.
Yeah, so it's still a dwarf. If that's the limit,
Yeah.
4'11", you're not a
They're all
dwarf.
dwarves. They're all dwarves.
They're all dwarves,
all
I
dwarves.
guess.
So they've been
I
known to
need
use
my
magic.
D&D guide. I'm pretty sure they're like halflings.
Yeah. They're not
Right?
dwarves.
Yeah.
I think 2 feet tall. I think
Exactly.
2 feet's a little short to be a dwarf.
Well, maybe you're a little too short to be a squatch.
I'm only 6'5".
Oh, you're 1 inch off.
Damn it.
So the Menehune
You're a
have been known.
half
That's right. You'll always be a half squatch.
Jealous.
A little bit, because I'm kind of short.
He's the dwarf.
Nope, too damn tall to be a dwarf.
Too tall to be a dwarf.
Yeah.
We just went over
I'm
this.
in this, like, average area. That sucks.
Yeah, you're just average.
He'd
Yeah.
be human.
Yeah, I'll never get noticed this way.
Weird.
So they've been known to use magic arrows to pierce the heart of angry people, or squatches, igniting feelings of love instead. So it's not like they're going to kill you. They'll just make you love more instead of being so angry.
They're like Cupid.
Yeah. So they also enjoy cliff diving, and according to local lore, they were smart, extremely strong, and excellent craftsmen. And they were rarely seen by human eyes, and they were credited with mighty feats of engineering and overnight construction. I
Sounds
guarantee
an awful
this
lot
was
like
from the Brady
brownies.
Bunch.
Is this the Keebler Elves?
I tell you,
They didn't
they're
make
like
cookies, though.
The Brady
No,
Bunch.
they're from the
Why do you
Keebler
keep
Elves.
going back to the Brady Bunch?
Because I just talked about what happened here, and it reminded me of the
No,
episode.
oh my goodness. Keebler Elves.
This sounds
no.
familiar.
They're more like brownies.
I swear that this is Fae folk in Hawaii. This is their Fae folk
I like it.
Yeah.
because they're magical. They'll be willing to help you out as long as you
Hey,
respect
they can
them.
build me shit overnight. I'll help them out all they want.
Yeah,
Well, listen to what they can do.
but you're not supposed to look upon them.
Yeah,
You're not
don't
supposed
you
to look
dare.
upon your
You
work.
can't see them
Or,
because they're 2 feet tall.
but what happens if you disrespect them? If you look at their work, you turn to stone.
So they're like Medusa.
I would let them do their thing. Let them build me.
You know who won't
ponds
turn
and
to
shit.
stone? The Rock.
He's already the Rock.
There's a comical strip later.
So these industrious master builders use their great strength to build temples, fish ponds, roads, canoes, and houses. One such structure they are believed to have built is Kikiaola, which also known as the Menehune Ditch, a historic irrigation ditch that funnels water from the Waimea River on Kauai. Another one of their amazing feats is the legendary overnight creation of the Alekoko fish pond on Kauai, which archaeologists estimate to be around 1,000 years old.
Yes, so the people of Hawaii, especially on Kauai, they believe that the Menehune were the original settlers of the island. And if you ever go to Kauai, you could actually see this canal. It's really cool. So,
So have you heard about like the orang pendek from Indonesia?
Oh, yeah.
That's what this reminds
yeah,
me
we talked
of.
about the ring paint
Yeah.
deck.
So this is what reminds me of. This is what we remember.
Yeah, we talked about that on our
That's right, we did.
Sasquatch
Yes.
show.
Yep.
Every show is a Sasquatch show.
That's right.
Say that 3 times. I couldn't even say it once. Now, it is said that they built this fish pond for a princess and her brother. The shy but strong group lined up in a double row, which stretched for about 25 miles to distant Makaweli.
Makaweli.
Yeah, I'm bad. The workers passed stones hand in hand to build the pond. They worked at night so as not to be seen by others, cutting, transporting, and fitting stones for their projects in a long bucket brigade. If they were discovered, however, their work would have been abandoned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would have never disturbed them.
No, if you see the canal,
You can't see them; they're only 2 feet tall.
So when you think of the canal, you're thinking there's 2 rows on each side, but one brick is higher than the other.
Oh, okay.
There's a picture. If you go on the next page,
We're skipping ahead again.
Next couple, you could actually see it. This is what it looks like.
Oh.
For those of you watching on Spotify and YouTube,
Very cool.
So they were supposed to represent the prince and the princess.
Huh. So they were promised no one would watch them work at night, which was carried out after dark. However, one night, the royal siblings snuck up and watched the thousands of menehune at work, only to fall asleep. At sunrise, the menehune discovered them and turned them into twin stone pillars that can be seen today in the mountains above the fish pond. Interrupted by the sun, the menehune left 2 gaps in the fish pond wall. Many generations later, Chinese settlers filled these gaps to raise mullet, but the stonework that closed the gap was far inferior to that of the mystical menehune.
They're excellent craftsmen. You don't mess with them. And if you would see these stone pillars, they're absolutely gorgeous. They're really pretty. So.
I saw them in Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings, second. So what do you think of these little guys?
I think that the possibility of them being, existing thousands of years ago is a possibility just because we have found the Orang Pendek remains that show that there have been small people living around that, in those islands. So who's to say those little guys didn't make little boats that could go to other little islands and they could do cool little magical shit together?
So there's a legend on Oahu. So I was telling you about the boar man, the pig man, or hog man, I guess. I can't remember. But he is the son of Pele, and I can't remember the god. But they had a love-hate relationship. So, and this deity came about, and he's half pig, right? So, but if you go on Oahu, the father did not care for the way that the son looked, so he hated pigs. So Pele still thought he was gorgeous. So her half of the island has pigs on Oahu, and his half does not. And the menehune actually have created a divider that protects the pigs from the one side to the other. And if by any chance a pig gets out and gets destroyed on the other side, they take it and use it for their own dinner and stuff. So no pig goes to waste on Oahu.
I want to know where I can get some of these guys. They want to build me shit while I'm sleeping. Sign me up.
I want them to clean my house while I sleep.
They build stuff. They're builders.
They could build me some clean house.
So you want them to build you a new house every day?
Actually, that would be nice too.
There's actually been evidence. I think it is on Kauai, where there's a temple that's only been half built, and it's just staying there, and they call it the Menehune Temple because it didn't get finished by dawn, so they had to stop and go somewhere else. So, so
just that's evidence. Evidence.
And then here's an interesting fact. This was actually in one of Hawaii's newsletters that the Menehune is a true race of people. During a census in 1820, 65 Menehune identified themselves as living in Hawaii. So,
what?
Yeah, so they actually...
it was during a census, so they just got to write it in?
Yeah, so they identified themselves. Hey, people identify themselves as different things today, too, whatever you want.
Next census, there's going to be awesome. A Sasquatch in Utah.
So and then
There's
there's
gonna be a man bear pig in Riverton.
so they're saying that there's some people that still identify themselves as the generations of the Menehune. So
That's awesome.
so
Yeah, Ginger Squatch will be residing in Utah.
So-
For the next census.
yeah. So there you go. And then I surprised you with the third cryptid there at the
Monk
very.
seal.
Surprise!
Surprise.
So
surprise.
this is called the dog who runs to sea. I can never say it right. Ilo hulu I ka ua. I know I screwed that up.
Ua.
Ua,
I'm
ua.
pretty
There we go.
sure it's shark bait. Ooh.
In English, it's the dog who runs to the sea. I put this one in here because for the longest time, people were just like, that dog looks really funny and he's going into the water. So this is a cryptid that actually became to be truth. So for the longest time, the monk seal was considered just a myth because it was so rare. And they were like, it has a cute little dog face. And they actually thought it was a dog for the longest time, but it would run into the sea and disappear. So they're just like, part of the mythology is the dog who ran into the sea. But then to come to find out in the early 1900s, there you go, that in its actual species, it's called the Hawaiian monk seal. And you can find more of them on Kauai than anywhere else, but they are found on all the different islands. But I just thought it was funny that here's a cryptid that actually came to be an actual physical animal. Just to let you know, the cryptozoology sometimes comes to real.
Right, yeah. There
It is
just wasn't
indeed-
a lot of them.
Yeah, it is endangered and it is a protected species. So you got to be careful that if you do see it on the beach, you are not allowed to touch it. You're not allowed to go to it, but you can take pictures.
What if it touches me?
Then it has every right to bite you.
Then that was its choice, not yours.
Yeah.
That's my argument for when I'm caught hugging a seal.
Look at that face.
It touched me.
It does look like a cute little dog.
Yeah, I
You
always
know.
thought
I want
monk
one.
seals look like puppies. Puppies
Yes.
of the sea.
So they are endangered, and there's a lot of places in Hawaii that are trying to help, bring it out of the endangered species list. But I just thought that was really cool that it was actually considered a cryptid, and now it's actually a real thing.
I want
There
one.
you
I'm
go.
going to name it Andre.
Andre, Andre, the dog who runs to the sea.
Yes. Although in that movie it was a sea lion, but it's a movie based on a true
Andre?
story.
I remember that. Wait, I remember that.
The little girl becomes friends with it's like a seal or a sea lion. I'm pretty sure it was a sea lion.
It was like after.
I want
Free
a
Willy.
monk seal.
Sometime after Free Willy.
It was. I want a monk seal. I'm going to name him Andre.
So if you go to Hawaii, go say hi to the monk seals, but do not touch.
I told you, officer, he attacked me.
He asked for these.
And
hugs.
if you see a half man, half shark, do not touch him either.
So look at those eyes. He wanted this. That sounds dirty.
So there was I just had to throw that one in because there was a cryptid that was actually real. So,
Thank you for getting this research done for
yeah,
us.
we got 14 pages here if you guys want to see.
14 pages. We talked about 3 of them.
No, we got a good 5 in.
Well, a lot of
my
them
bad.
repeated the same stuff.
This is true.
So,
Do you know what we're going to do?
What are we going to do?
We're going to steal a page out of a different podcast book.
oh no,
And no, this was your idea.
It
You've
is?
already done this.
I have.
Yes. So
I didn't bring my hockey players and cryptids.
No. So we're gonna
Mary F. murder after these 3.
we're gonna murder the cryptids one at a time.
Oh no.
No, we're gonna make them fight.
Oh,
We'll do
who would win?
Yeah, who would win in a fight?
Out of these guys?
No, well, all cryptids from around the world.
Oh, I thought you just. meant out
Oh,
of
because
these.
I did that.
I was going to say the
Another,
Warriors, duh.
another podcast that her and I follow, they like to do what they call bracket shows, tournaments.
and I did one of cryptids, and it was most epic because Jeff went very far.
So they want her to come back into a cryptid show. I said, we'll do it here. We'll do it.
I got plenty of cryptids.
Yeah.
I got plenty.
There will be one named Jeff. I'm just saying that.
Do you want me to bring Jeff back?
We can bring Jeff back. This is a whole different podcast. We can bring anything back that you
Jeff
wanted
will
to.
go all the way.
Oh, well, probably. He's a talking mongoose. More on that later.
Yeah. You know what Hawaii's full of? Mongoose.
So we'll have an entire mongoose.
There used to be cobras there. Not anymore.
Yeah, because Jeff
The mongoose.
gets around.
Yeah.
Chilling nuts.
He's the 8th wonder of the world.
Yeah. and he talks.
I remember hearing about Jeff.
Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
I talked about him last time too.
So we will have more cryptid shows. We will have Nicole back.
Oh, I
we
love
might-
talking cryptids.
We might make them fight.
Yeah. Well, let's call this an episode then.
It's an episode.
It is an episode.
Aloha.
Check out our social media, zvp.pod at Facebook, Instagram, all that fun stuff. Ghosty Jr. will be posting stuff for us.
Way to go, Ghosty Judah.
Yay!
GJ.
Yeah. Affiliate link, ghoststop.com. Check that out. Buy your ghost hunting gear. Go ghost hunting. We're doing it.
Mahalo.
Peace out, butterflies.
Aloha.
This is the EVP Podcast.